Hi, my name's Walter Davis. I'm from Pottsville, Pennsylvania, originally from New Jersey. Our idea is to create a 2.5-mile greenway or a biking, walking, pedestrian trail that would bisect the city of Pottsville using the existing JFK trail.
And my name is Alan Reinert. I live in Pottsville. I'm the owner of Pottsville Cyclery, the bike shop in town. And so obviously this trail is a really important addition to the town for our customers to allow them more free ability to move throughout the city.
The current population of the city, about 30% of it is Alan's existing customer base. So that means that about 4,000 people in the city have bikes and use bikes. The trail itself is heavily used. The problem is it's a destination. It's not something that can be passively used. You normally gravitate within a 3-block radius of your house. So if the trail is not close to your house, it's not something that you can use to go from point A to point B. So by creating the 2.5 miles of it, we're essentially bringing most of the houses within the city to that 3-block radius, so then they can use the trail to actively get from point A to point B without having to drive.
As much as we'd like to think that our roads are safe, if you're a pedestrian or cyclist, they're just not. We have multiple fatalities in the city for people just crossing the sidewalk. And so it's difficult to encourage people to ride on the roads, and so we want to create a safe alternative to get around the city without having the danger of cars potentially hitting you. And so creating this greenway to allow pedestrians and cyclists to move throughout the city more freely opens up an opportunity to visit our downtown shopping district from your house and be able to walk there, again, to alleviate part of this parking issue and to do it safely, for you and your family. While it may not seem like this is a direct ad in terms of adding arts and entertainment, one of the things that we've considered is along the trail having murals and public displays of art and things like that for the residents who are using the trail to have access to more public works of art that local artists or people from outside the city that want to come in and do art can add to the city and make it a more beautiful place. Taking a former alley and turning it into a beautiful work of art adds a lot of culture and desirability to certain blocks in the city.
Yeah, and again, adding to that, if you look at other examples of urban trails, whether it is the Schuylkill River Trail in Pottstown and like the Philadelphia area, or it is the Circuit Trail in Harrisburg, any trail along those lines that's in an urban setting, you do see the arts essentially resurge in those communities. So the alley that we're talking about, it's one of those things where it's a disused alley that, you have graffiti, you have vandalism, you have dilapidated properties, but it's one of those things where it could be something that's better than that. It's just one of those, we're changing the perception and the use of that space, and that creates essentially the pathway for you to have that arts and cultures and humanities downtown.
Yeah, it turns what was formerly a forgotten alley into maybe one of the most desirable places in the city. That's the dream. A project like this is really large, and it can be hard to kind of nail down the specifics of what things need to get done. And this project has really allowed us to focus on the specific tasks that need to get accomplished to realistically make this happen. Instead of just thinking, here's this grand vision of what could be, we have to start thinking realistically about what are the next steps in terms of actually doing that. And this has really helped kind of let us know what those steps are and kind of focus our attention on the important, small things rather than just the grand, large vision.
Yeah, and as far as individually goes, it's also one of those things where there's skills that build on your day-to-day life, and although it might not change something today, it can change something down the road because we are making connections, and the process itself facilitates all of that and creates a whole new skill set for each individual.